The old man was almost starving, but he still fed the last bit of food in his home to the hungry, cold birds outside the window. After eating the food, the birds turned into 7 dwarfs. To thank the old man for the food, the dwarfs sneaked into the shoemaker's shop as night fell, planning to make a batch of the trendiest shoes for him overnight. Each of them had their own unique way of making shoes. For example, the primitive dwarf bent a bow, shot an arrow, and the shoelace tied itself like a snake. The dwarf with very long arms used his long arms to sew shoes. The cowboy dwarf used a pistol to carve beautiful patterns on leather shoes. The dwarf who loved animals took out his pet termites, put them on wood, and in an instant, they carved a shoe model. But the dwarf's work was not all smooth. 2 dwarfs were nailing soles, but they accidentally nailed another little friend into the sole. Another 2 dwarfs were also reinforcing the soles. Unexpectedly, they ran out of nails. Out of habit, the dwarfs used their little friend as a nail and hammered him into the sole. The fastest dwarf in the group could sew a pair of shoes in a few seconds, but he was obsessive-compulsive. When he saw a thread end on a shoe, he couldn't help but pull it. As soon as he pulled, the shoe turned back to its original state. If a companion accidentally hit his finger, one dwarf would put an empty bottle over the companion's head to muffle the noise. A dwarf with poor eyesight always missed the nail. Every time, he hit his little friend's head. The angry friend gave him a pair of glasses, brought an eye chart, and tried to correct his vision. But the dwarf still couldn't hit the nail right. A hard-working dwarf was polishing shoes, but passing companions kept dirtying them. He kept polishing, but the shoes got dirty again. The helpless dwarf deliberately dirted the shoes, but the companions changed their path. After the dwarfs worked all night, shoes of all styles and uses were made. The dwarfs happily put on the shoes and danced. But the noise woke the 2 old people who were sleeping. The dwarf keeping watch saw this and immediately told everyone to leave quickly. The 2 old people pushed open the door. The shelves were filled with all kinds of beautiful new shoes. The old people were overjoyed and danced happily. The old man looked out the window and said,
I wonder if them little birds had something to do with this.